Today, we're diving deep into a place that so many people call the heart of suburban Miami. It's a community that really tries to give you the best of both worlds, that family-friendly vibe, but with the pulse of a major city just a drive away. We are exploring Kendall, Florida. If you've ever looked for a house in the Miami area, you know the struggle is real. Finding a place that's got great schools, doesn't totally break the bank, and actually feels good for a family, it can feel impossible. It's like you always have to compromise on something, right? Well, maybe not. That's right. For about 80,000 people, the answer to that question is Kendall. It's become this huge magnet for families who want that suburban comfort, but don't want to completely give up the energy of Miami. So, what's the real story here? Let's get into it. Okay, first things first, let's talk money. What's it actually going to cost you to put down roots in Kendall? Let's take a look at the housing market. The first number you really need to know is this one, $518,000. That is the median sale price according to Redfin. Now just think about that for a second. In neighborhoods like Coral Gables or Brickell, you could be looking at double or even triple that. So right off the bat, you can see why Kendall is on so many people's radar. But don't let that price fool you into thinking it's a sleepy market. Prices are up over 10% compared to last year. That is a huge signal of high demand. It tells you that people who buy here are confident they're making a good long-term investment. The market here gets labeled as somewhat competitive. So what does that actually mean for you as a buyer? Well, it's kind of the sweet spot. You're probably not going to find yourself in some crazy 20-person bidding war, but you can't exactly take your sweet time either. The really good homes still get multiple offers, and they're usually snatched up in about a month. And there's a style of house here for pretty much everyone. You'll find those classic sprawling ranch homes from the mid-century on these huge lots, but you'll also see super modern custom homes in gated communities and even these massive estates with no HOA breathing down your neck. But hey, a house is just four walls and a roof, right? What really makes a place feel like home, especially when you have kids, is what's outside that front door. And in Kendall, that means amazing schools and fantastic parks. Kendall has this long-standing reputation for having really strong public schools and charter schools. You hear names like Calusa Elementary and Arvita Middle all the time. They provide that solid educational foundation that families are really looking for. But there is one school here that puts Kendall on a totally different level. U.S. News & World Report looked at over 17,000 high schools across the country, and they found that the fourth best high school in the entire nation is the School for Advanced Studies, or SAS. And get this, its biggest campus, which the principal actually calls the Dream Factory, is located right here in Kendall. It's this incredible dual enrollment program where students can graduate with their high school diploma and a 2-year college degree. I mean, wow, what an amazing asset for a community to have. And when school's out, the options for getting outside are just fantastic. You've got Kendall Indian Hammocks Park with its own nature preserve and a skate park. Then there's the West Kendall District Park, which is just massive. And you even have unique spots like the Kendall Ice Arena for something different to do on the weekend. Okay, so we've covered where you might live and where the kids could go to school. But what does it actually feel like to live in Kendall? What's the vibe, the day-to-day lifestyle? Let's talk about that. Honestly, one of the biggest surprises about Kendall is the food scene. This is not your typical suburban wasteland of chain restaurants. No way. We're talking creative, delicious Cuban, Korean fusion at a place called Finca, some of the best Peruvian ceviche you'll ever have at Dr. Lemon, and even a spot for the legendary 11th Street Pizza. And listen to this. This quote about a place called Apocalypse Barbecue just says it all. It's not just good barbecue for the suburbs. People who know are calling it the best barbecue in all of Miami. That's the real takeaway here. The food in Kendall isn't just a nice surprise. It's a real culinary destination. And when it comes to shopping, the area is really anchored by two big hubs. You've got the classic, massive Dadeland Mall with over 180 stores. And then you have the more modern, walkable downtown Dadeland, which was really designed to have more of a neighborhood feel. All right, so far, it sounds pretty great, doesn't it? But every single place has its trade-offs. So now we've got to talk about the daily realities, the not-so-perfect parts of living in Kendall. Ask anybody who lives in Kendall, and they will all tell you the same thing. The single biggest downside is the traffic.
This is a true suburb, and with that comes a heavy, heavy reliance on your car to get pretty much anywhere. Your commute to downtown Miami can be an absolute grind, especially during rush hour.
And hey, the numbers from Redfin tell the exact same story. The walk score and the transit score are both really low. All that means is that for most of your errands, for your daily commute, you are going to need a car. There are public transit options, but they're just not as convenient as driving. And there's another challenge that just comes with the territory of living in South Florida. It's one that anyone thinking of buying a home there absolutely needs to have their eyes wide open about, and that is the long-term environmental risk. And this data is, to be honest, pretty sobering. Just take a second and let these numbers sink in. Over the next 30 years, pretty much every single home in Kendall is at risk for extreme heat and wind, and more than half are at risk for severe flooding. This isn't some far-off idea. It has a real impact on everything from your personal safety to how much you're going to pay for home insurance. So we've seen the good, we've seen the bad, and we've seen the practical stuff. Let's pull it all together and figure out the final verdict. You know, when you boil it all down, it really is a fundamental trade-off. On one side, you've got these incredible schools, homes that are more affordable, beautiful parks, and a food scene that punches way above its weight. But on the other side, you've got that daily grind of traffic, a lifestyle that really demands a car, and the very real and looming risks from climate change. And that leaves us with the final question. For you, is that suburban promise, the space, the yard, the amazing schools, is it worth those trade-offs? For 80,000 residents, the answer is a clear yes. But the right choice? Well, that really depends on what you value most.